God damn it, not this one too. So, we recently got confirmation that at least 2 Chronicles of Narnia movies will be adapted for Netflix and be directed by Barbie director Greta Gerwig. And this is already off to a terrible start. Now, I know what some of you are going to ask, so I'm going to address that right off the bat, that I've addressed the Percy Jackson show and this one. Why haven't I done one for the Harry Potter reboot or the How to Train Your Dragon reboot? Well, the answer is pretty simple. We don't have any information about them. We know that J.K. Rowling's working on Harry Potter. We know that some writer was hired for How to Train Your Dragon. I don't remember who. But we have zero information to go on for those shows or movies. So, will they be good? Probably not. Do I have any faith in them? Not really. Not at all, actually. But I don't have anything to go off of for those. This one, however, I have plenty to go off of. Now, the first Chronicles of Narnia movie is a classic. It's one of my favorite fantasy movies of all time. And I know people bitch about me liking movies that are different from the source material, like Percy Jackson or The Maze Runner. This movie is virtually word for word from the book, and I love it. It's one of my childhood favorites, and I still love it to this day. Prince Caspian got relatively mixed reception, but I still thought it was really good. It wasn't quite as good as the first movie, but I still thought it was a solid fantasy film. The third film, people hate the third film with a passion. I don't hate it. I think it's very mediocre, is the way I would put it. It's nowhere near the caliber of the first two, but it's not an awful movie. It's just it's probably not a movie I'll watch very often, or maybe not even again, but it's perfectly fine. This reboot, however, is not going to be good. Now, first off, I remember years ago when they were trying to work on a Silver Chair movie. Whether or not it's going to be connected to these movies is anybody's guess. But now it seems like they're going full-on reboot. And if I were to hazard a guess, I'm guessing at least one of these, probably the first one, will be a reboot of The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe. Because, obviously, that's the first book. And like I said, The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe was a critically acclaimed box office hit that's considered a classic to this day. So, why reboot that? There are so many movies that didn't get adapted. Do The Silver Chair, or The Magician's Nephew, or one of these other ones that wasn't adapted yet. If you have to sure, you'd have to bring in a new cast, because the last movie came out 13 years ago, sure, but people would understand that. And if they don't, then they really need to understand how movies work. But that's not what they're doing. And of course, this announcement brought on a bunch of essentially Antichrist people. People who hate Christians because they're woke morons on Twitter. They all complained about how it's Christian propaganda. What was one that I saw? Is my Christian trauma has been reactivated, or some shit like that. I don't remember exactly what was said, but it was something along those lines. And that's some of the most pathetic shit I've ever seen. And not to mention that the thing that's really going to kill this movie is its director, Greta Gerwig. Now, I already have no interest in that Barbie movie. I'm not watching it. I don't care how many people ask me to watch it. Even just ask me to hate watch it just to give it a review to tell people to stay the fuck away from it. I'm not going to watch it. I'll probably do an entire video about why I'm not going to watch it, like I did with Cuties about 3 years ago. But I'm not going to watch it. I'm not giving my money to that movie, especially with this director. And my reasoning is because this director is very anti-Christian as well. And these books had a lot of Christian symbolism in them, and it had a lot of Christian symbolism to it. Like, Aslan is, of course, Jesus who rises back up after being killed by the White Witch. It's very Christian heavy, and that was the entire point. But of course, again, these woke assholes on the internet, they are the descendants of the Antichrist, I'm pretty sure, because they hate Christianity. They will do everything in their power to destroy religion. And I'm not an overly religious person myself. Don't get me wrong. I haven't gone to church in over 10 years. But again, people want their woke, diverse horseshit shoved into Hollywood, And, by the way, doesn't make them money. It's been shown many times that that doesn't make you money and will make you flop. Disney's been being taught this lesson for the past few years, so apparently they don't retain shit from it. But they can't figure that out. And movies that don't have woke ideologies in it, like the first three Chronicles of Narnia movies didn't, because this was before that was really a thing, let's be honest. But those would make money. This is going to be another Percy Jackson, where it's a bunch of race swapping and just destroying it. And the Harry Potter one is probably going to be the same thing, because contrary to belief, J.K. Rowling is not anti-woke. Yeah, she doesn't... Yeah, she knows basic biology, but that does not make you anti-woke. So, oh my god. So many of these franchises are just being destroyed. Like, yeah. And the DCU is another reboot that's probably not going to be good. The DCEU was terrible, don't get me wrong. But I don't see James Gunn doing too much better. So it's pretty much like every rebooted franchise that's coming up is terrible. Maybe I'll just do a video on 5 upcoming reboots that are dead in the water. Because, man, this one sure as hell is. So that's all I got. And I'm gonna go watch Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe again. I'll see you all next time.